This week in Grace's Girls Club, we have a very special guest. I am joined by Miss Peggy Lee Wright. Peggy, thanks so much for being here. Peggy Lee, I should say. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. Oh, that is okay. If the worst thing I get called is Peggy instead of Peggy Lee, I think I'm having a great week.
So, Peggy Lee, walk us through exactly what you do and how you're involved in the STEM world. I understand there's multiple different ways.
Yeah, there certainly are. So my STEM path started in my 20s when I joined the United States Army and became a Black Hawk pilot, a helicopter pilot. Absolutely love that career. This was back in the 90s, so it was a little rare to see women in aviation, but definitely not new. Women have been in aviation for a long time.
Yes.
But on top of that, in getting out of that world of where I was directly involved in the science, technology, engineering, and math field, after my career in the military, I started to do a lot of consulting within education. And that has kind of landed me here in Alabama, helping to build the Alabama School of Cyber Technology and Engineering and inspiring high school students, aspiring especially young women, to see that they can follow this path and be very successful in it.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you for your service to our country. That is incredible, incredibly noteworthy, and we're very grateful. But if it's okay, if you have time, I'd like to touch on kind of both aspects of your career at some point today, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's start with the cyber school. I know you touched a little bit on the mission there, but walk me through some of the nitty-gritty of what students there learn and how you've helped incorporate that into the curriculum.
Absolutely. So this is a ninth through 12th grade state school. That means that we are recruiting students from all over the state of Alabama, not just Northern Alabama. We currently have about 334 students, and we are in every Senate district in the state. And what we are doing is we're teaching engineering, but we're teaching students how to put cyber resiliencies and protections into any of their engineering projects. And so every student that comes to this school will graduate having taken physics as their very first science.
Yes.
And every student will graduate from this school with calculus. And then these students are going to know not just cyber and or engineering, but both at the same time. We take them through the paces of systems engineering all the way to electrical engineering and aerospace. And we also teach them how to either build projects and implement cyber protections or how to hack those things. So we have to know what we're fighting in order to be able to defend it. But it's a very cool curriculum, and it's one that no other high school in this great nation of ours is teaching. We're the only one like it, and it's right here in Alabama.
Absolutely. That is so cool. And, I've kind of had my eyes on the cyber school since moving here, learning about the curriculum and learning a little bit about the types of students that it attracts. And every time I learn more, I'm more and more impressed than I was the last time. The curriculum is next level, and I love the mission behind it as well.
Thank you so much for saying that. And it truly is an amazing curriculum. What the staff and faculty and President Matt Massey have been able to do is truly incorporate every facet of this school and make it tie to cyber technology and engineering. For instance, the language arts classes, yes, they are going to read great novels, but there'll be novels like The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind or The Martian. And then they'll tie that into building something within their engineering classes. They'll also do things like reading and writing of technical reading and writing so that these students, because no matter where they go to work, when they're in this field, they need to know how to do that.
Yes.
The history classes also tie in cryptography and engineering, meaning our high school students are learning the same histories that other high schools are, from ancient civilization to current events, but we're taking them through that through the lens of cryptography and engineering and how those two things have truly helped to shape and form society. So the school really does practice what it preaches, and it's just really an honor to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Such a hands-on educational experience. That is so, so cool. Okay, so now let's transition back to your career as a pilot, as a Black Hawk pilot. Walk me through, of the letters in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, which letter or sequence of letters most applies to that part of your career?
Tell you what, it's definitely the engineering and the math for me, which I have to tell you did not come naturally to me in junior high, in high school, or in college. I had to work really hard at it because it was not the things that I was exposed to growing up. And so I had to work really hard at that, but it was definitely worth it. Being able to understand the aircraft that you're flying, not to mention doing all of the you know how folks say back in the day I had to walk uphill both ways in the snow barefoot. Well, back in the day in the 90s, we didn't have all of these beautiful GPSs that we could just punch in a location into. So there was a lot of math involved with flying and how you were going to get there and winds and all the good things. But it definitely helped me and really set me up for success in so many other avenues of my life.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you touched on that. As I was looking over these interview questions before we joined together, I was thinking, so much about being a woman in STEM, being a go-getter in life in general, is not about not having challenges. I think sometimes we look at people in STEM careers and we say, oh, it was just easy for them. They were just brained that way, that it just came to them. But in my own personal experience, and it sounds like in yours as well, that's not the case at all. It's seeing the challenge, letting it excite you, and working through it. It's not the lack of the challenge. And I love that you touched on that as well.
Well, I really appreciate your saying that, Grace, because one of the interesting things that I think, we see a lot in young women is that if they have not been exposed to that, or it doesn't feel like a natural fit, it becomes that challenge can become intimidating for us.
Yes.
And I can very, very honestly say that school never came easy for me. And education and learning things has never come easy for me. It's something that I really have to work on and practice. But the thing that I think that cultivated for me was a resiliency and a grit to want to achieve. And that's the thing that we truly want to show kids here at the school, and in the state of Alabama, is that you don't necessarily have to have all the ducks in the right row or have all the knowledge in the right row in order to go after something. That if you truly want it, you can expose yourself to the right educational opportunities or the right professional opportunities to help you achieve the goals that you have in mind. And anything is truly possible, even when you come from the most humble of beginnings.
Absolutely. I have so much respect for that answer and that point of view as well. So walk me through a little bit of your educational background. We know, you work with this school now, but what was it like for you? How educationally did you get to where you are now?
That is a great question. So I grew up in a little town called Fayetteville, North Carolina. I absolutely loved it. I am a military child. Both of my brothers went into the military. My dad was in the military. I had no intentions of ever going into the military. I set my sights on New York and went to a small university in New York and just really wanted to just experience something different. I was not a great student. I had to take out a lot of student loans, but I managed to make it happen by working hard and working full time, as well as taking out those loans. That led to a career, continuing my education in grad school. And actually, it wasn't until the first Desert Storm in the 90s when I went back home to good old Fayetteville, North Carolina, and saw the troops leaving, that it kind of weighed on my heart that I needed to be in the military and give back to my country. And so that led the path on to being in the military and an officer in the military, which has been one of the most exciting and rewarding careers of my life, which then led to consulting for Department of Defense, as well as some academic institutions, which led to my job here at the school, trying to encourage our great state and the students of our great state to put their mind towards this wonderful career that we call STEM, and encourage folks that never thought they could be in that path to actually conquer that path. So
You know, Peggy Lee, I am already a woman in STEM, but I'm still getting chills here. You know, when you watch a movie with like a workout montage, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do that. I could do it. I'm talking to you already in the field. And I'm like, I can do this. I need to keep working hard. You're such an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so cool. Thank you, Grace.
So walk me through what the best thing that STEM has taught you is. If there's one thing that your career, everything that's brought you up to where you are now, and there's one lesson that you took away, what has that lesson been?
Wow, that is such a good question. I think the biggest lesson personally for me, is that nothing truly is out of reach. And if you can dream about it, imagine it, see yourself. And I believe in a lot of kind of positive thinking, positive mindset, before a game or even before a speech, before a conference, before a mission, whatever it is, it's visualizing that you can actually accomplish the things that you want to, and actually seeing yourself make those accomplishments. And in this world of STEM, with it forever changing, it's an exciting path. And I will tell you that if you stay on that positive mindset of whatever changes come, to approach those as challenges and really get after it, it can become a really exciting field to be in. But you got to be willing to change, because it is a forever changing profession and subject matter of expertise to try to get into. I don't know if anybody's ever truly an expert, because of the fact that they change the left and right limits on us so much, but it's definitely exciting. So I'd say the resiliency and just the knowledge of knowing that there's so much out there. Why not tackle it? Just because it's not been in your wheelhouse before, why not try a different house? So
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. It is ever changing, and that's what sets us apart, is our ability to adapt and learn. So kind of a similar question, but I know how busy you are, so it'll be the last one that I ask you. And you might tell me you feel like you just kind of answered it in what you told, but if you had a message for young girls, young students in general, who were hopeful to join the STEM force one day, aside from just be resilient and embrace challenges and learn to adapt, is there anything else that you would tell them as they prepare to enter into that field?
absolutely. I think there's two things that I think are really important for any professional, but definitely if you are looking to get into the STEM field, because we make so many changes that are good for society within the STEM field. I think there are some personal skills, some what we call soft skills that each of us need. And there's all these jokes about engineers or people within the STEM field that we don't have the soft skills, conversation or relate. And I think that that's one of the things that's exciting for girls, is for us to come into the STEM field and bring that different type of soft skill, the different type of communication skills, the different ways of reaching out and connecting with people who either work for us, with us, or above us, and shining in that respect as well. You can be, as a woman in STEM, you can be a hard charging professional and still be able to be a thoughtful, attentive, and emotional leader. And I don't think that's something that we as young girls, young women, older women should shy away from. So I think that's a really important thing for young people to understand, and especially young women. And I think the second one is, as you start going into your professional career, you also need to think about giving back. No matter who you are, no matter what your education is, no matter where you came from, someone has done something to help us and pull us up along the way in order for us to be able to achieve. And so I really like to encourage young people to go ahead. It doesn't matter how young you are, to start giving back, whether that's to your classroom at school, to a team sport, to a club that you're involved in, to church. to nonprofits in the community. Start giving back. It shapes you not only personally, but professionally, and allows you to see every facet of society and not just the ones that you're accustomed to.
Yes, and you know what, Peggy Lee, you are in such good company when you say that. Every single woman I've reached out to interview for Grace's Girls Club has responded and said, I would love to. So many people mentored me. I would be happy to be interviewed for this. So you're exactly right. The pioneer's path of giving back, we're no longer the pioneers of it. That's already there, and it's something that's so crucial to our field, almost similar to what you were saying, being a woman in STEM. That's one of those soft skills that we can carry over and we can add to the field.
That's right. Spot on, girlfriend. Spot on.
Well, aside from just wanting to be best friends with you now, Peggy Lee, I am so excited to officially and formally welcome you to Grace's Girls Club now and forever.
Yay. I feel like I've arrived.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Grace.
Thank you so much for your time, Peggy Lee. I know how busy you are, but I appreciate you sharing your wisdom, your expertise, and your time with us today. I hope you have a great day.
You do the same, Grace, and I feel so privileged to have been included. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.